Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Infi, and today we're going to be going over a Black Panther guide. This is going to be basically just a beginner's guide. There will be a few advanced concepts here and there throughout the video, but for the most part, my advanced concepts are going to come in later videos, so stay tuned for that. Hit the subscribe button if you like Black Panther, and let's go ahead and get into this video. Also, if you guys have any questions about this guide or more advanced Black Panther concepts, feel free to ask down below. Alternatively, I will be a little bit more responsive over on Discord. The link to that will be in the description. And I do stream Monday through Friday on twitch.tv/infipoo. So if you want to ask me while I'm live, feel free to do that instead as well. Your goal as Black Panther is to kill or disrupt the enemy backline as much as possible. It's important to note that your primary objective each time you spawn in should be to distract the enemy backline with a heavy focus on the supports for as long as you possibly can. This will effectively take away all healing from the enemy's front lines, in turn ultimately resulting in your team tank diffing their team, and hopefully resulting in you guys winning the game. Panther's abilities are all quite intertwined within his kit, so we're going to start with the dash and just see where that takes us. Panther's dash is pretty straightforward. You look in a direction and you get lunged forward in that direction for 15 meters. If I'm looking straight up, I will go straight up. If I'm looking straight down, I don't go 15 meters, but I definitely do go straight down. It's important to know that friction does play a little bit of a part in this ability specifically. You do have to look a considerable amount at the ground, but the more I look at the ground, the less distance I'm going to travel. As you can see, I'm looking pretty far at the ground here, and I still go the full 15 meters. But if I look almost near my feet, I go 5 meters and so on. We're going to talk about this more later with a more advanced tech called floor dashing, which every Panther should know and have in their arsenal. Panther's dash does have an 8-second cooldown, but there is a way to easily negate this by using his other abilities. So his spin kick and his spear both leave a mark, as you can see on enemies. What this mark indicates is that if I dash through an enemy that is marked, I will get my dash reset. Even if I kill an enemy that isn't marked, I will not get my dash reset. So this is really important to know. This is basically the bread and butter of his kit. So do not dash through enemies that are unmarked unless you absolutely know you will kill them and you will absolutely live from it. Another time you can dash without marked targets is coming out of spawn. That's fine as well too. So Panther's spear, like I said, it marks them, but it also inflicts 30 damage, and it does the exact same amount of damage whether you hit them via splash damage or hit them directly. So don't hyper focus on hitting enemies directly. It doesn't give you any added benefit other than potentially whiffing your spears. You definitely do not want to engage on targets if you do not have all of your cooldowns available. Panther's kit revolves heavily around his abilities, and he is very well known as being the tickle monster because his left click really doesn't do all that much damage. Targets that fly, you typically do not want to be targeting with Panther because you have to hit the spear directly, which is significantly harder to do, especially in game against a real Iron Man that's doing their little like jiggle thing they do when they're flying. So try to avoid targeting flying characters unless you can bait them into a room or you deem it's absolutely necessary to do so. Up next, his spin kick. This also marks targets and inflicts a little bit more damage than the spear. Do not heavily try to rely on this ability, especially in the middle of your combos. As you can see, his spin kick is very slow. So typically you're going to want to use this at the end of your combo or just try to get creative with it overall, which we'll talk about here in a second. But I very highly recommend using this for last or using this as an ability. If you miss a dash on a marked target, you can just spin kick and reset. So unlike your dash, your spin kick can actually be controlled in the sense of what direction you're going. So all you have to do is spin kick and then move your mouse right or left, then you will go in that direction. This plays into its creativity a little bit because if I'm holding a corner or a doorway like so and I can see the enemy and they can't see me, I can start off my kick before they see me and basically get a lot more value out of it because I'm not in that slow little startup animation that is very easy to kill Panther out of. Trust me, you will die a lot, especially to Bucky's when you're spin kicking. So please try to save this for last, or like I said, try to get a little creative with it. I don't really feel as though I need to explain too much about his climb and double jump. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just use it to gain height and try to gain an advantage or even make yourself hard to hit when enemies are shooting at you. Panther's passive does inflict more damage when you're low HP, but since the season 1 update, it's basically useless, so just ignore this for now. It's not going to really play a big part in the playstyle that you utilize. This finally leads us to Panther's ultimate, Bass Descent. which is basically just a giant panther that comes out. It inflicts damage, it marks targets, and it also offers you a dash reset, which is very useful, especially at the end of your combos. If you've already used all your cooldowns, you can just go ahead and alt, and this will give you your dash back. As you can see, I don't have my dash. I'm gonna alt, I get it back. The target is now marked, and I can dash through him and basically just start my combo all over again from the top. Another way you can use it is in one-on-one situations that will basically guarantee you a free kill on the enemy and just provide overall value to your team, especially if you are taking a one with a support player on the enemy team. But sometimes DPS players will catch you off guard and you will just have to torch your ult to guarantee the kill. It's almost always better just to torch your ult to win the 1v1 than it is to save it for the perfect moment. Also, I forgot to mention, always feel free to torch your ult if you miss your dash on a marked target. It's a really good way to still gain value out of your abilities while not really penalizing you at all. Okay, so on to our combos. The first combo is against 250 HP targets. This will kill anyone with 250 HP like Cloak and Dagger, Psylocke, Raccoon, Adam Warlock, literally anyone with 250 HP. It's just spear dash, spear dash. Plain and simple, very easy. There is one other one-shot combo for 250 HP targets, which is faster, but it adds a massive risk factor. And it's with using the tech called ghost dashing. If you guys don't know what ghost dashing is, it's just when you use one dash immediately after the other. Without any spears or anything, it would just look like this. So very fast, you're basically just flicking your mouse and hoping that the target is still going to be there. That's one part of the risk. The other part is in a real combo, I'm gonna spear and then dash, dash. And now I don't have my dash to get out. I only have my spin kicks. And I'm going to show you what the real combo actually looks like. You're going to throw both spears at the very beginning of your fight. Since on the regular combo, you go spear, dash, spear, dash. We're going for the same thing, but it's spear, spear, dash, dash. So here it is. That was almost a miss too. You could see I didn't flick my mouse all the way. So that's just something to watch out for and just practice over time. You're typically only going to want to do this when you are behind both healers and one healer is just isolated from everybody else on the team. Okay, so on to characters like Luna or Punisher that have 275 HP or 300 HP. This will effectively kill anyone in that range. There's two combos for it. The basic version is spear dash, kick. The more advanced version of this combo, which includes a advanced mechanic for Black Panther. I wouldn't really call this advanced because it's not too difficult to understand, but it goes off the concept we were talking about earlier, that when you look down and dash, you'd go less distance. So with that in mind, the goal of floor dashing is to dash and land behind or next to or right in front of the enemy you're fighting and be able to get in a punch. When I dash next to Luna without looking down at all, I go all the way over here and effectively cannot melee her. So it's going to look something like this. I'll look at the ground, punch, and then dash out again. So in full combo, what this is going to look like is spear dash, look at the ground a little bit, land next to the target, melee, spear dash, and then they're dead, which is a lot faster than adding the kick to the end. Spear dash, melee, I landed a little bit too far away, but it's okay. I just pressed W real quick and land the punch anyways. So this is a very important thing that you're going to want to practice in your quick play games or in the practice range before you hop into ranked, as I truly believe it is an essential part of Panther's kit and will help you kill the 275 to 300 HP targets a lot faster. 300 plus HP targets, mainly referring to tanks here. Typically, these aren't really good fights for Panther, so we're not even going to go over this in the range. Typically, what you want to do is focus the supports, and then if your healers or frontline need help with the tanks, you can peel back and help, or just in team fights in general, you can always help. But for the most part, after you killed the healers on the enemy team, you're going to want to just try to find good positioning for the next fight when they come off spawn. Okay, so for the final section, let's go ahead and talk about dive timing and also positioning on Black Panther. Instead of just giving you guys the answers, I figured I would take you guys through a few of my clips that I feel like I did both positioning and dive timing relatively well, and take you through my thought process and just what's going on in the clip in a VOD review style. I'm waiting for their Mantis on an off angle. That's ideal Panther positioning, and ideally, you also want to have height when you're playing an off angle as Panther so you can kind of see the whole layout of what's going on better. And this is just an overall really good example of good positioning. So let's go ahead and play the clip. Waiting for the mantis. She comes in, I get into my dive, I use spear dash, and then spin kick, and I'm unable to get a kill off of it. So statistically, I didn't get a lot of value from this push. But if we go back to the beginning of this video, I said the main purpose of Panther is to disrupt the back line of enemy teams. Keyword is disrupt. So I might not have secured the kill on the mantis, but these guys were all like shooting my team, trying to get a pick so that they can push on. But what happens is when I dive this mantis, they immediately all turn and start helping this mantis on my dive. I can't really do great slow-mo, but you can see right here, Invis Girl turns right after here, Bucky turns, and they start trying to help. And instead of just trying to keep dashing through over and over again, I know I don't have my ult, so I can't get a free dash reset off of this. I know that I just need to stall them, get them to peel back, and just distract them. I'm being a professional distractor in this clip, and now I've done my job, so I'm going to take high ground again, and just I was going for the heal pack, but I actually didn't take any damage through that whole thing somehow. I'm not really sure how that happened, but regardless, it's good to know where the heal packs are as Panther. Do not expect to get heals from your healers playing on an off angle as Panther unless you have a snowflake. So now what's happening is I'm resetting, waiting for them to walk onto point either up where I originally was through that little hole in the wall, or I'm waiting for them to come down here and try to push from right below where I am right now. So fortunately for me, they chose this pathway right under me. So I'm really just listening for footsteps, waiting for people to walk by, and then I'm going ahead and just start my dive. I have all my cooldowns back in 1 second, and I'll be able to re-engage. So good timing here. This Bucky unfortunately heard me right before I dropped down. Panther's footsteps are so loud, unfortunately, except when you're in the air. But yeah, this is really well timed, other than the fact that Bucky is my hard counter. Fortunately for me, he's not very good, and I'm able to get a really good combo here and kill 4 of them. All right, so on to the next clip. It's actually very similar to the first clip I just showed. I'm holding high ground. I'm out of LOS of the enemies, and I'm just basically AFKing until I get a good opportunity to dive probably this Luna, because she's the one I'm clearly targeting right now. But I'm just waiting for her to push up enough that I can successfully do a spear dash onto her. And I do almost mess this up, but I do end up taking out both healers, fortunately, and providing a lot of value to my team. I end up getting away at the end, but I'm just going to play the clip and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so first things first, let me talk about why I chose to dive at that moment. So real quick, information is key when you dive. You want to know as much as you possibly can before you dive. And at this moment is when I dove. But real quick, before I did that, I peeked back to my back line and front line to see what was happening. There's a Luna ult going on, and I think that's their enemy Strange. Is that an enemy Strange? Yep, that's their Strange and their Thor. So naturally, I'm thinking this is a phenomenal time to dive onto their healers because both of their tanks are distracted. They're not going to peel back most likely. So that's what I do. So I drop on the, I don't know how the Thor just got all the way back here that fast, but I drop onto the Luna and notice that the Hela and Mantis are here. So my goal here is just to do a quick combo and then just get out and reset probably to the high ground where I was. But yeah, I got a little bit overwhelmed here, but I still get a good amount of value out of it. I killed the Luna and I noticed the Mantis is one shot. I thought my spear was back. So right now I'm jumping, spamming right click. And what I do is as soon as I right click, I usually just press shift right after when I have like a clear sight on the enemy. So this was a mechanical error because I was like half a second away from getting my spear back. I think I had looked at it a little bit too early and I was like, oh yeah, I'll have it by then. But regardless, this Mantis is one shot. I already killed their other healer. So even if I die here and kill the Mantis, it's not really that big of a deal because I provided a lot of value to my team. So that's pretty much what was going through my head. very quickly in the moment, but I killed the Luna, which was my main goal, and that's when I was originally going to get back, but I looked back again, saw her weak, so I decided to chow. So let's just play that again real time. All right, so waiting for my opportunity, I see the tanks fighting. It is a good time to dive, and I noticed that all three of them are right on top of each other. The Thor peels back a little bit somehow, still doesn't notice me, which is basically what allows me to get away with this. Typically, if you don't have any cooldowns, just try to get out as quickly as possible. All right, that's going to wrap up this video. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this one. If there's anything I missed or you want me to cover in future videos, from basic mechanics to advanced mechanics to just overall game knowledge and game theory, let me know down below. I'd be happy to go over it. I definitely do want to do more VOD review style videos in the future, as this one wasn't a full-on VOD review, but you guys get the point. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Nevertheless, this was my first Marvel Rivals upload. Let me know how I did down below. Give me some criticism. I love y'all. Peace.